So, good afternoon, all. Frank here, Hillside Landscape Management. Sorry. Anyway, you're about to see a video showing off the trucks. Well, the main truck, the dump truck. I should have scripted stuff out. Not a good video, but I'm going to post it anyway. Take care. All right, y'all, sitting inside the 2016 Ram. Just backed in the open trailer. Going to do a quick walk around of the trucks and trailers. Well, actually, the truck's in one trailer. I'm not going to show much of the inside of this. It's a Ram 2016 Power Wagon. It's my personal vehicle, but it does get used occasionally for work stuff. So, this is the open trailer. It's a Big Tex, as you can see. Now, it was a 14 pipe top equipment trailer, but the previous owner, I guess he didn't have a CDL, or someone didn't have a CDL, so he swapped out the axles to 5,200 pound axles and had the trailer derated to 9950. So that's what it's registered at. That's what it's titled as. So it's just a nice big heavy equipment trailer. Obviously the easy rack thingy there. Tie down's not secured. It's a project for another day. So the first project I had done to this was have these ramps installed. These are some heavy duty ramps. So back when I was still in Tampa, I could get skid steers on here. You can see these were constructed by a friend of mine from high school. He has his own fabrication shop. So I told him what I wanted and he went nuts with it. So I do need to get out here and sand this down and paint it. There's also some rust spots on the trailer. I don't know if that's going to show up or not. I'm just using my phone. But the stuff he had, it definitely needs to be cleaned up and painted. He did a great job with it. Those ramps are heavy, hence the heavy springs. This whole trailer weighs a lot now. Cut down on the payload capacity of it, but it still more than meets what I need it for. I can still get a small skid steer on here, some other stuff, so no worries there. Again, there's the Ram. Not going to talk too much about that. We'll get that trailer and the equipment inside of it another time. Mostly I want to show you this. A quick walk around of the 2017 Chevy 3500 with the dump box on it. So the dump box is 9.5 feet long. Actually, it might be 9 feet. I probably should measure that, but I'm going to go with 9 feet. It's short because the cab to axle length is really short on this truck, which is why I was able to get it for a steal. So this truck was sitting at the back a lot of a huge dealership in Brandon, Florida, a big commercial dealership. And again, it's a cab chassis truck that nobody wanted because the cab to axle length is so short. So it was sitting there for a year plus. The 2019s were already out when I bought this in 2018. And it's, like I said, it's a 2017, so 2 model years old. I bought the truck for $30,000 roughly. Paid $15,000 plus to get this box and toolbox put on. So I'm into the truck for under 50 grand. So I'm not going to do a whole thing on the inside of it. It's just a work truck and it's messy right now. So vinyl seats, vinyl floor. It is 4-wheel drive with an actual shifter. That's a plus. You can actually feel the truck engage when it goes into 4-wheel drive, unlike the push button or dial. I'm not a huge fan of those. And it's got all your pockets for storage. You can see there's all kinds of crap in mine. Gym bags over there. So again, we're not going to do much on the inside. It does have the infotainment screen and the little data screen there. So got your brake control and everything else that you need. 6.0 gas, not a diesel, which may be another reason people were hesitant to buy it. You got your tow mirrors. There's your buyer's box. This is an older buyer's box. You see that it's not weather sealed. hard to do with one hand here. So you see that there is moisture, pardon my fingers, there is moisture getting in there. It's got an irrigation box and some discharge hoses for trash pump, one rock for some reason, and a fire extinguisher which needs to be replaced. So the business end of this truck, this side door, something I had added. Put a pallet of mulch in here. Pallet of sod will not fit because I went with a 48-inch wide door. So they went 48 inches from there to here, not here. So pallet of sod will usually catch the side pieces that hang over the edge, will catch on that. But the pallet of mulch and everything else fits in just fine. It's great for side loading debris. You have limbs or branches you want to just chuck in the side. You know, it's a curbside door, so it's easy to access. On the back, just two barn doors. Boom. Easy opening and close. Boom. A couple of trash cans back there now. There was some rock back there. It's not right here. Unfortunately, it takes several trips in this because this truck I had built in Florida, so to save weight, I did the bottom 2 feet solid and the top 2 with expanded metal. Up here, if I'm getting anything smaller than 57, I can usually do it feel comfortably, that it won't fall out, but road bond or pea gravel or anything like that, I can't go past this 2 foot mark because it'll spill out the sides into highway, and that's not good. Also not good, I just realized I snapped the door cover off, so I gotta fix that. I thought I heard that break this morning when I was disconnecting the trailer, but lesson learned. Anyway, you got your hook for securing the door open. Got a little step, your grab handle, your tarp. The step is pretty much useless. I'm not real tall, I'm 5'10", so I have to step on that, then onto a tire, and then onto the lip if I'm really trying to get that tarp open. Usually I climb in the back and get the tarp that way. So dual gas tanks, so you can't put a box on this side. Well, I take it back. I suppose you could put a very small box right here, but what's the point really? The thing is I don't like about this, because there's not much, and it all has to do with this box. So let me show you real quick the hoist on it. See, there's the manufacturer. I'll get to them in a minute. So it's electric over hydraulic. That's a rugby hoist. The tonnage of the hoist far exceeds the payload of the truck, so that's not an issue. See, the frame looks good again because it's a Florida truck. It should hold up just fine here in Tennessee. So the problems with this truck, you'll see the welds. So there's all kinds of gaps in here with no welds. Not a huge deal. It does allow water to escape rather than just sit in the truck. Let me open this back up again. Show you something here. You'll note the exposed metal in that monstrous weld. That is because I didn't have that door secured open on the hook I showed you. This was back in Florida, I don't know, 2020, and made a right turn. The door was open, it swung and caught the front of the enclosed trailer, and I was concerned that I just destroyed my brand new trailer. I only had it for maybe a month at the time. Nope, trailer was fine. Put a small hole in one of the aluminum panels, didn't even mar the plywood behind it, but it tore this door off the hinges because the welds on this were awful, and the tubing on this upright is thinner than this metal right here. I'm gonna guess that tubing is maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. So let me show you the other side that's not altered. There's your weld. That seems okay, I guess. But this tube is just terrible. So what happened was this weld, with the pressure on it, it just pulled this tube right apart. It didn't snap at the weld, it snapped at the tube. So the door came off, had to throw it in the back of the truck. Had a buddy of mine reattach it, try to straighten this tube back out. He was all mangled. So he did a good job. You'll see that the doors don't quite line up. See, the gap at the top is a little bit bigger than the gap down here, but overall he did a good job. That's my only complaint about this, the fact that this door isn't quite wide enough to get a palisade in. That toolbox isn't weather sealed, and just the overall quality of the build on the dump box itself. Everything else is fine. The LED marker lights are great. The hitch plate is good, minus what the damage I just did, but it's a good quality hitch plate. The wiring's all good on it. Everything else is fine. But the truck does its job. Got 5 loads of stone here. This I was able to fill up over a little higher than the sides because, again, this material wasn't going to spill out. I'm not sure why they even needed this, because they have an asphalted parking lot, but they wanted it dropped here, so it's dropped here. Anyway, that's the truck. Things I recommend if you're going to be using it to salt or plow a truck like this, you got to get a stainless steel bed. Don't get aluminum if you're hauling any kind of material like that, because it's just going to beat that aluminum to death. And obviously, if you're salting, a steel bed like this is going to just get destroyed within 3 years, maybe. I would either go with a contractor dump or a mason dump if you're going to be hauling a lot of material like that. I couldn't fill this up all the way with stone. The truck can't handle the payload. If you do expanded metal, say you wanted to do maybe a 18-inch solid and then another foot of expanded on the top, go with a smaller expanded material, especially on the bulkhead, as you don't want stuff getting through. Thankfully, no rock has really gotten through that, but throwing branches and limbs in, I have shot them, just throwing them in through the opening into the back window. Thankfully, the window has never broken, but I've been concerned about it a few times. So that's my biggest thing. Get a quality hoist. Don't get a cheap generic brand hoist. Get a Rugby or someone like that. The box, Knapheide makes good ones. Rugby makes good ones. There's ones with aluminum panels that come off the sides, or poly panels. I really don't recommend the polycarbonate side panels that come off. The aluminum, if you're not hauling rock or anything heavy, you can get by with aluminum. But if you're going to be hauling any kind of big logs or stone, stay with steel. And if you're going to be salting, you got to do the stainless steel. What else? If you're buying a cabin chassis to do this kind of a box, or any kind of a dump box, make sure you get the extended filler necks. Otherwise, you have to lift the body to fill the gas tanks up. My second dump truck had that issue. I bought it sight unseen from a place down in West Palm Beach when I was living in Tampa. Bought it off the internet. Showed up to get it and went to gas it up. I'm like, there's no extended necks on it. So I had to lift the dump box up every time you wanted to gas up. So if you're thinking about doing a dump truck on a 1-ton chassis, start with a cabin chassis that has the frame ready to mount a different body on it. If you get one that has a bed on it, you're going to have some work to do ahead of you to put a dump box on it. Or even if it's just you're going to do a hauler body or a flatbed, you're still going to have to do some alterations to get it to work on just a regular truck bed. Regular truck chassis that has a bed. I can talk, I promise. Anyway, just a quick walk through the truck. I'm gonna go take it for a bath. Desperately needs one. So anyway, that's today's job. Tomorrow's our first commercial mow of the year, so looking forward to that. Anyway, hope your all spring is off to a good start. Take care. So I'm at the auction this morning, hanging out in the farm and landscape section. Not too much in the way of mowers I'm interested in. Old grasshopper with the leaf vac on there. That's all right. Mostly the two things I'm interested in is that Ryan aerator, and there's a Toro aerator over here. The Toro has some leaks and has a lot of hours. It's got almost 3,500 hours on it, according to the meter. These two Exmark walk behinds are nice. They're 400 hours each, but don't know that I'm really in the market for one of those. And I'm going to keep looking around here, let you know what I see. I have a good amount of tractors here. However, I'm not convinced that an auction is the best place to buy a tractor. Chances are, if it's here, it's because the owners couldn't sell it because they have issues. That could be said for anything here at the auction, but usually municipalities will turn over their trucks at auction rather than just trying to sell them. So trucks can be a good find at an auction. Same with mowers if they come from a municipality. But yeah, tractors, not so sure about that. Never even heard of this brand. I'm sure it's just a rebranded version of something else, but yeah. Coker, no idea how you say that. So they've got a bunch of these little cheap Chinese-made excavators. I think that thumb is manual. They give you a nice toolbox, probably because you're going to need it. Anyway, got a Briggs & Stratton. I don't know if it's 18 horse, maybe it's over 20, but I doubt it. Yeah, they probably got about a 10 or 12 of these. They have other legit ones too. Got a landscape body Isuzu here. That might come in handy. Could sell off the equipment trailer. Even though I just had those ramps put on. Body's in decent shape. Let's see what the cab looks like. I don't know where the styrofoam is from, but alright. Some leftover glove. Some beef jerky wrapper. Not in the worst shape I've ever seen inside. It does stink, but it was a landscape truck. Driver's seat's a little ripped, not terrible. Dead battery, she won't turn over. So, getting out of the rain here, but sitting in a C6500. Probably early to mid 2000s. It's an automatic, which is odd. It also has no battery. So, can't even try and start it, but anyway. So these are what I'm really interested in. There's two of these here. This one and another one. I'm going to go check the other one out. This one's not in terrible shape, but it's not in great shape either. Especially given it's only got 1,500 hours on it. Here's the other ditch witch. It's actually a bigger model. Haven't looked at this one yet, so we'll see. Looks like it was a rental, possibly. Alright, I'm gonna film recording it, or I'm not gonna record looking at it just in case there's some issues and other people want to buy it. So I did a quick once over on it. It has some issues. Again, not the worst thing I've seen, not the best, but it definitely needs a good bit of maintenance before it can be put into service. So again, not what I came here for, but I keep getting drawn to this truck. I don't know why. It'd make a nice little dump truck, I think. Frame solid. Tires are decent. They're not mismatched. Like everything else, it's going to need some work. You get an empty bag of chips with it. I'm not going to bid on it, but be interested to see how much it goes for.